Well, hello everybody and welcome to the Shed of Dread, and let's get straight into it. Right then, so my recent video I just did about Jinx Monsoon and Russell T Davies banging on about, inclusion and gatekeeping for trans writers and how much they enjoy pissing people off because they're getting their place. Well, it appears that things aren't going the way they thought. In the Pink News today, 19th, most Republican voters now believe same-sex relationships are immoral, study finds. Thank you. Before we go any further, this is all your fault. This is all your fault, Pink News. This is all your fault, Stonewall. This is all your fault. All you stupid activists ranting and raving and shoving other people, your opinions down everybody else's throats. This is what's happening. This is your pushback. What did you expect? You caused this problem. Any case, after a year of relentless attacks on the alphabet community, what attacks? We'll find out in a minute what they think are attacks. The Republican voters now believe same-sex relations are immoral. So thanks to all you lot, those decent human beings that are gay and bisexual and lesbians and trans and everybody else just wants to get on with their lives, you fucked it over for them. You've done all this because you just won't sit down and shut up. Only 41% of Republicans say same-sex relationships are morally acceptable. This is published on a Gallup poll on the 16th. The number marks a drop of 15% of points for 2022. I wonder what brought that on. The majority of Republicans, 56%, thought that same-sex relationships are morally acceptable. Gallup points out this is the largest single year change in the past 2 decades. Again, whose fault's that? You can only push so hard before people begin to push back. This is of your own making. Don't scream and shout and cry. This is because of you. Starting, the number of Democratic voters who approved same-sex relationships also fell from 85 to 79%. Again, what did you expect? You see, you had the right, and I agree with you and back you up, and I will back you up with the way that you are being homosexuals and that are being treated in Middle Eastern countries, because that's wrong. And I will support anything and shout out against that, no problem at all. But when you first started, you wanted the same rules and acceptance by everybody. You didn't want to be treated differently. You just want to be accepted. You've got all that. Then you needed a month to say, look how special we are. Even though you didn't want to be treated any differently, you've gone like this. We've had the trans and the drag artists pushing and pushing and pushing, and now sort of attaching themselves to our children, and now the pushback begins. People are bored of pride. People are bored of the continual and relentless drive, and it's not just here, it's on TV programs, it's in movies, and that's why your TV programs are doing shit, and that is why your movies are failing. Even though you won't admit that to yourselves. Overall, 64% of American voters said same-sex relationships are morally acceptable, making them only slightly more morally acceptable than buying and wearing clothes made from animal fur. Well, the thing is, it's not fair on these people who don't do this, who aren't a part of this, who hate what this has become. I mean, you've got the LGBs wanting to drop the T, the Qs and the pluses because it's the T, the Qs and the pluses that are causing all of this. It's that simple. Yeah, LG and B were fine. Everybody, pretty much everybody, apart from there's always bigots in everything, accepted people, let people get on with their lives, done, finished, not a problem. But this lot here decided at the end that they want to make it all about them and destroying even their own of those. Remember the Pink News got attacked, and I did a video about it because they forgot to put these 3 letters on the end of one. And then these lot jumped on them. Any case, all your fault. Gallup said Americans' opinions of morality, various issues, mostly become more liberal over the past 2 decades, but 2 changes in the past year on same-sex relationships and the death penalty have become more conservative direction. I wonder why. Crime is rampant thanks to liberal issues. So everybody's had enough of that, and people have all had enough of having that same-sex relationships rammed down their throats in absolutely everything that they see. So you wonder why that's there. Again, all your own fault. Still, Americans are less conservative about the two issues than they were 20 years ago. Republicans are increasingly identify as conservative on social issues and largely responsible for the change this year. Even though you admit that so are the Democrats, because people have had enough. The poll comes after a state of emergency was really fuck off. Because they're under attack because of gender affirming care. Incorrect. That's making sure that children who are, not old enough to make a decision themselves do not get their bits cut off and given drugs just because they've decided that way, because the schools have probably programmed that, or they've got a stupid mummy and daddy. Drag. No, we have no problem with drag artists. It's an adult entertainment. Keep drag artists in adult clubs and not with our children. It would be exactly the same if strippers were doing the same thing, yeah? It's just bullshit. And trans people playing sports on the correct team? No, because you can't have cheats. Now, I'm not the fastest person on the planet, but I can now just identify as a woman and go and play sports and be much better than them because of my biological advantage. For the first time in the organised history, HRC explained it was declaring an emergency on 6th of June, unprecedented dangerous spiking. No, they're not that. They're not that. You're lying there. Stopping kids being mutilated, stopping kids being over-sexualised, and stopping people cheating in sport. That's not anti-that. That's just called common sense. Any case, Kelly Robson, no, they're not. Millions of community perceive they're real, tangible. No, they're not. Just so kids don't get mutilated, just so adult artists stay in the adults and away from children, and people don't cheat. In many cases, resulting in violence, forcing families to uproot their lives, flee their homes to safer states. No, there isn't. Proof. Actual proof of that statement. Bullshit. The Homeland Security warned the risk of terror attacks. No, they're not, although you'll probably fucking engineer one to get your point across, because President Joe, what the hell am I doing, biggest fucking post-turtle on the face of the planet, Biden. No, they haven't. They're not anti-laws. They're not no, they're not. They're protecting values and freedoms of Americans. Remember, making sure kids don't get mutilated. Keep adult artists in the shows where they are for adults and not children, and stopping people cheating at sports. These are cruel and callous to our kids. No, they're not. They're protecting the kids. Our neighbours, protecting our neighbours and those in our community. And they will stand with their backs in the face of these attacks. There are no attacks. Now, with all this that you've seen here, and then I can draw your attention to the video I did about Russell T Davies, Doctor Who, pushing the obvious LGBTQ plus alphabet spaghetti agenda in each show. This is what they're walking through in America. So they've got a show which is saying something that it looks like the vast majority of Americans no longer agree with, on a channel that's about to fall apart because it's just doing what that one does, and can't understand why its films are bombing like anything. Dangerous times. All of this, and it is dangerous times because there are many gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender people just want to get on with their lives, and they're being ruined because people like Pink News and that can't keep their bloody mouths shut and have to do it. When BBC and ITV change people to gay just to flipping cause it, you're self-destructing it, you're causing it all yourself. So don't blame everybody else, even though you will. This is all of your own making, and I've got no time for it. My social media stuff is on top of the screen as always. If you want to subscribe, do what it says on here. You hit that like button, you click the subscribe and turn it grey. Ding that magic little bell, select it all, and you should get a notification from YouTube that I've done another video. And with that, I am done, and all you need to do is, well, get out of my shed.